Guess what? We're back. Another exciting edition of Sports Talk is McKinney. We just got done. They're all fantastic. I mean, they're all groundbreaking. They're epic, record-breaking. There's so many different words you could use for it. We are setting the standard in sports talk entertainment. The one and only Sports Talk is McKinney. And we're back to talk. We talked a little bit about playoffs in the first segment. Now we're back to talk about Major League Baseball. Already, season's flying by super quick. Got a lot of big stories. I know we're going to talk about some of the pitchers coming up in a minute. I'm going to start mine talking about the fight this week between Odor and Jose Bautista. I'm telling you, it was a shot I hadn't seen since Nolan Ryan put Robin Ventura in a headlock and beat the tar out of him back in the early 90s. But
he caught him on the jaw. Looked like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
I mean, he caught him good, but to Bautista's credit, he did not go down. So despite the perfect connection on the jaw that was probably just as good as any UFC punch that's been thrown this year, doesn't put Bautista down, but what a punch. But a lot of bad blood right now between the Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, it goes back to last postseason when the Blue Jays defeated the Rangers in the playoffs, and the bat flip after Bautista's momentous, gargantuan, Ruthian home run to put that series away. And baseball's got the unwritten code. One of the interesting things about this was that this was the end of their second series. They were in their seventh game. And it was the eighth inning of the second game of that two series that they were playing. And I know that the Blue Jays thought it was sort of cowardly to wait until the end. If you're going to hit somebody, they were saying, hit him in the first inning of the first game. So a lot of talk coming out of each dugout. Of course, the Texas guy, we didn't mean to hit him. The Blue Jays aren't buying that.
Well, and you talked about the bat flip that he did last year. Of course, the normal code of baseball, like we talked to the one and only Don Sharp a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Bob Gibson. If someone puts one out on him, he's putting him on his butt the next time he comes to the plate. Of course, this was the second series that he's come up when finally, it went down like that. Why did it take Texas so long to retaliate on that? I mean, his very next at bat, he should have been put in the dirt the first time he faces him after that Ruthian shot.
That's what you'd think. And but it didn't play out that way. And we don't know if Matt Bush, the Rangers pitcher, meant to put a 98 mile an hour fastball in his ribs, but we do know that Bautista's slide was a little late, and Odor was maybe expecting it. He saw him coming in, and then the pushing and the shoving, then of course the shot to the face that's going to end with a suspension, which really bothers me because Bautista and Odor are both on my fantasy team, and they're both going to get suspended. It's going to be a rough week next week for the Flipper Warcats, my fantasy baseball team.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do like seeing a little bit of controversy like that. I like seeing the aggression because so often now in sports with our athletes today, it seems like we don't have that passion on the field, but to see something like that, to see Odor take a stand against a superstar like that, and not just take a stand, but put the shot heard round the world. I mean, what a shot that he threw on him. If I was him, I'd be signing him to a UFC contract afterwards. But great to see a little bit of excitement to happen, but also wondering maybe if it was a little bit of an overreaction because you think it was way past when they had that initial thing. But speaking of, the baseball season, and of course we're really starting to get flying on the season, let's talk a little bit about some of the pitchers in baseball right now. It has been, to me, the pitchers are just having a fantastic year so far this year. We're talking about the other day, 20 Ks in a game. First time we've had that in a long time. But, just so much going on with the pitching in Major League Baseball. It seems like that seems to be the story here early in 2016, Mike.
Right, and, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was who's the best pitcher in baseball? And we've got two different record-breaking pitchers. We've got Jake Arrieta of the Cubs. He's won his last 18 decisions, Major League record. And then Clayton Kershaw, with the first player in Major League history to go 5 games with 10 strikeouts and 1 base on balls or less. Heading into tonight's game, which he's winning, he's got 72 strikeouts and 4 walks. Just an amazing ratio. And he's throwing more first pitch strikes than ever. Arrieta hasn't stopped from where he was last year. And I don't think you could go wrong. If you have we're talking about in the break we were talking about the NBA draft and who might go 1 or 2, and we'll save that for another time. But if you had a pick between Arrieta and Kershaw, then you really couldn't go wrong with whichever one you get. I would say, of course, I'm a Dodger fan, so I'm a little bit biased, but I think Kershaw's the best pitcher in baseball. Top 3 in ERA the last 5 years, MVP, 3 Cy Youngs. Of course, Arrieta coming off a Cy Young season. What both of them are doing is amazing, and they do it in different ways. And Kershaw has added a changeup to his repertoire. He's already got that fastball that's got that upward movement that's fooling hitters. He's got that slider that he's throwing more of. He's got that killer curveball he's throwing less of, but when he does throw it and he throws it for a strike, it's over. And Jake Arrieta, he just keeps the ball in the zone, and nobody seems to be able to get a good piece of it.
Mike, and I'm going to throw something by you too. I mentioned the 20 strikeouts. What about Max Scherzer having 2 no-hitters in a 20 strikeout game, all within a 1.5-year time frame? I'm telling you, he's had a couple of the most dominating performances. Of course, he's not exactly tearing it up this year. He seems like he's just starting to get rolling. But the year of the pitcher right now, it just seems like, it's constantly aces just showing off right now. And as we're talking, we actually just got word in. Odor has been handed an 8-game suspension, and Batista gets 1 game for the rumble they had the other night. But, the year of the pitching, talking about rumbling, it seems like the hitters are just getting nothing going against these aces that we have.
Right, and there are a lot of, quality starters. We look at, the Cubs are off to this, one of the best starts from a run differential standpoint in over 100 years. And it doesn't take much to understand when you look at the ERA leaders with Jake Arrieta, 1.29 ERA, Hamill, 1.77 ERA, Lester, 1.88 ERA. You're going to win some games when you got 3 players that are giving up less than 2 runs per 9 innings. And the White Sox, they're winning. Why? They've got Quintana and Chris Sale giving up 1.5 and 1 2/3 runs a game. Kershaw is 4th in baseball with a 1.74 ERA. So like you said, there are some really, and we haven't talked about the Mets yet, and Noah Syndergaard and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, he outdueled I can't even talk right now. He actually outdueled Scherzer tonight, won 2-0 tonight against Scherzer. But it just seems like baseball pitchers are coming back taking over. It's unprecedented to see that many people with such low earned run averages, and is the game changing right now? Is the steroid? We had numbers being inflated for years with steroids. Is this the self-correction period that baseball is going through right now, Mike?
Yeah, and I guess we'll just have to see if it holds up this season.
Yeah, of course it is early, but still, just so much to watch in Major League Baseball. Of course, we had the Bryce Harper thing that also happened that we didn't even mention this week. But just so much going on right now. The year of the pitcher. But we'll be right back here on Sports Talk is McKimmie.